Okay, good morning. Welcome back. It's been a few days since I've done a video, but here we are. I've had a couple of people on the community group ask if I could make a startup video for the 737. So here we are. This is my take on it. There are different ways of doing it, but this is the way that I do it. When you first load into the PMDG, you'll load in and all these aircraft systems will be turned off. Excuse me. So if you want to do this from cold and start, you'll need to go into your FMC. So what you'll do, all these aircraft systems will be turned on. Excuse me. You'll go into menu here, PMDG setup, startup state. Yours will be one of these, but what you want to choose is cold and dark. Execute that, and then restart the sim, and you'll start up again with the cockpit looking like this. All the systems will be turned off, including UFMC. So because I've already started mine, I'll do it on the number 2. Press and hold the menu button and it'll turn it on. FS actions, ground services, ground power request. There we go. So the aircraft is breathing, so to speak. Okay, I've got a checklist which I downloaded off the internet, which I start with every time. So I'll run you through this as I have it in front of me. So the parking brake is set. Gear lever is down. Battery is on and the guard is closed. Emergency exit lights are on and the guard is closed. Ground power, we've got that connected. External lights are as required. It's the middle of the day, but if it was night time, you'd have your logo lights on. It shows the people on the ground that there's somebody on the flight deck. And if you're going to do a walk around inspection, turn the wheel well on as well. Okay, I do a little test down here. This is for the a fire in the engine. So flick it to the left. It'll automatically flip back to the middle, and then flick it to the right, and then they'll come on one by one, and you'll hear a loud alarm, a loud bell ring. There we go. So that's good. Personally myself, I've got all of these videos, or all of this, what I do and then how I do it, from other YouTube videos. So YouTube is probably the best place to learn how to start up your respective aircrafts. So the passenger signs, no smoking is on. If you've finished refueling, that seatbelt sign can come on as well. Electric hydraulic pumps, I get that wrong every time. The yaw damper on. Window heat on. Okay. So at this point, go into the EFB, request data from SimBrief. Now we're on the ground in Lisbon at the minute. I'm not actually going to do the full flight. I'll probably just do it until after takeoff. But the flight here today, as per the flight plan, is Lisbon in Portugal to Birmingham in the UK. So what I'll do now is I'll go up to the IRS, set these to nav. That would take a well, it depends what you've got your settings set to in the sim. If it's realistic, it can take anywhere up to 10 minutes, I believe. But today that'll only take a couple of minutes. So I will get the QNH, which is 1017. Turn the knob here, or just press this button here. It'll switch over to HPA, hectopascals, and it'll change this number here. So there we go. And the QNH is 1017. So then you turn the top knob to 1017. The transponder, when you contact air traffic control and ask for your IFR clearance, they will give you a departure from a particular runway, and they'll say squawk 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. Phone's rang. So we put 1, 2, I'll tell you what, they've told us 5, 4, 3, 6. 5, 4, 3. 5, 4, 3, 6. And then that would flash up on the radar of the controller, identifying us where we are at any particular point. So let's get the boarding
requested
underway. So it's a pretty miserable day in Lisbon today. But anyway, our cruising altitude today is 38,000 feet. So we'll change that up there to 38,000 feet. And while we're there, I will just see if I go. I like to have this set up before we actually leave. So if I put...
Do you want to board crew? Passengers bus is coming.
The runway in use in Birmingham at the minute is runway 15. So we'll just use the any chart, really, to get this bit here. Airport elevation 339. And then I put that in there. But I can't put 339 because it only goes up in increments of 50. So I'll go over instead of under. So you want that at 350. Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll jump into the FMC. As you can see there, it says enter IRS position.
Passengers boarding starting.
So press position initialization, I think it is. Next page. And you want this GPS coordinate here. Well, they're both the same, so just take any. Click it on the number pad, on the button on the left there. Previous page, and put it in that box there. LPPT. And I don't really think you need to do this, but we're at gate 801. Okay. So we'll go in here. Origin and destination. Oh, it's Echo Bravo Bravo, yeah. And then this goes into the company route. Activate that. Flight plan request. I've already exported mine, or dispatched mine, generated mine, whatever you want to call it, from SimBrief. So set payload, set fuel, select route, and this will just take a minute.
Passengers bus is coming.
Load, and then execute when it's ready. Okay, so the route, we've just got a direct line there from Lisbon to Birmingham. Just 1 second.
Passengers boarding starting.
Excuse me, I've got a bit of a sore throat this morning. So the active runway in Lisbon this morning is runway 20, and we want a ICSI Delta 1. ICSI Delta 1 Sierra. So as long as you've got the latest up to date ARAC cycle, these will be all up to date. So as you can see, it's shown up there on the display. So flick that to plan. Click on the legs page. And just step all the way out, just to make sure there's no discontinuities anywhere. And then from Hemel, you would then put in your route to Birmingham, which is up there.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
Okay, so that is that. Okay, now I go into the performance page, performance init request. Again, this will just take a minute. Load. So it inputs all of the information for us. Just cross-check with your flight plan, your zero fuel weight, your gross weight, reserves, and your cost index, which for I think that's a bit high. But I'm not actually doing the flight today, so yeah. We've got a flight altitude today of 38,000 feet, so that can go in there. Transition altitude of 4,000. So we'll have a look at the charts in a second. Flaps 5 are standard. 137, 139, 149. And for the trim, press the button here. Press it again. It'll insert that 20% into that box and it'll tell you what the trim is there. 5.49. So see here, we're just under 5. It's 4 units at the minute. See, for me, whenever it's quite annoying for me, whenever I hover my mouse over something, there's a label that pops up. So if I put my cursor over that, it'll pop up saying parking brake. I know it's the parking brake. So I've turned all of those labels off. So on the label itself, it'll tell you to the exact unit what you are. Whereas you can't see it on here. You can see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but you can't see in between. And like today we're 5.49, so I'll stop it roughly where I think 5.49 is. So we'll aim for halfway between 5 and 6, which is about there. So I'll also take 149, the V2 speed. and that can go in there. Flight directors can come on. Auto throttles on. And now we'll look at the ICSI Delta 1 Sierra. Yes, this one. So this is a departure we're doing, which is displayed on the screen here. So outbound to Netville, right turn of 295. So I'll set that to 295 for the right turn, and then right turn again of 036. So I'll set the other one to 036. Okay. So it's telling us flight level 150 by PT 751. So I'll put that into there. Remembering that the transition altitude is 4,000. The Lisbon VOR is 114.8. 114.8, which is there. Now, like I say, I've just picked all of this up from YouTube and what have you. But in my experience, this line here is broken because the speed the FMC has got us doing won't let us complete that turn. So it'll probably say on the legs page, bypass. Yeah, it does there, bypass. Why has it got us doing 299 knots at 4,000 feet? That's not right. See, as soon as I change it to 250 knots, that arch slackens a little bit. So if I change it to 220 knots, 220 slash, look, yeah, it completely fixes it. So anything that has bypass is the FMC saying that it can't make that turn. In my experience, normally because your aircraft is going too fast. Okay, we'll tune the VOR, the second VOR for CAS. Is it Cascade? 114.3. So we've got one here, and then we've got a VOR here. Okay, so at this point, we'll start the APU. We'll need this for power to start the engines on pushback. And I like to have my lights on pretty much all the time. Okay, so looking at the airport, where I've purposely positioned us close to the runway. Well, not that close. I thought we were closer than that. But pretty much straight out. There's no traffic, so we'll go onto the runway. No, we won't. We'll go straight over, down, and around. We'll do the high-speed taxi as well. We could probably make a intersection takeoff, but meaning lining up at uniform 5 and straight out, but we'll do it at full length. Okay, the APU's ready, so APU gen on. Okay, the packs are auto. Isolation valve is open. And the radios are set. We'll just say that we're on tower frequency and yeah, you guys know how to do that part anyway. So we'll have a look around the outside. All the doors are closed. All the bags are on. All the equipment is away. The chocks are still there. The GPU's still there, which we'll get rid of in a minute. See, the APU's on now, so we'll get rid of the GPU and we'll take the chocks out as well. Okay, so we'll put the APU bleed on after 1 minute of the APU being on. Excuse me.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Departure checks completed. Bypass inserted.
Let's go and have a look what they're doing.
Locking gear.
So we're going nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes, please.
Okay, brakes are off.
Commencing push. All engines clear.
And away we go.
Start at wheel.
Okay, so engine start. I don't know what's wrong with my voice today. All the fuel pumps can't come on with no fuel in the center tank. Oh, we've got a little bit, so that can come on. Cross feed, packs off. Ignition mode selector is set to both. Engine 2 start switch, which is this one, to ground. So we're watching for this number here to get above 20%, and then we can insert the fuel. So we'll wait for that to stabilize and wait for the mode selector switch to flick back over to off.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for your engine start.
Okay, so that's stabilising now. Now it's just flip back over to off. So we'll start engine 1. Again, waiting for the number to rise above 20% N2. Got a bottle of water with me. Throat is just so dry. Above 20%, fuel in. Just monitoring the engine, making sure that we've got 2 good engine starts. Okay, that's stabilising, so that's good.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
So we can flick the generators 1 and 2 on. This would now take the power from the APU to generate power from the engines. Engine 1 and 2 start switches to continuous. Probe heat is on. Wing and engine
Unlocking
anti-ice is as required, not needed today. Packs set to auto. Isolation valve auto. Recirc fans auto. Can turn the APU off. APU bleed off.
Tow track disconnected. Bypass
Flaps.
spin removal.
Flaps are 5.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Elevator trim is 5.49. Flight controls, turn that to system. Full left. Full right. Forward. Back. Full rudder left. Full rudder right. So the man down there has given us the green light. He's waving to us. Goodbye, my friend. What I'll do now is I'll set our nav. The auto throttle is armed. And we can turn the lower screen off. Taxi lights on. Auto brake rejected takeoff. So we've got 2 good engine starts and away we go. So if you're like me, I have a tablet, an iPad set up next to my computer screen, which I keep all of my charts ready on. So I've got a map of the airport up on my iPad, just to my right. So we're currently taxiing down, is this Whiskey? This is not matching up to my, those taxis times didn't match up to what my charts are saying. If we take a right turn here, this should be Alpha 5 holding point. Well, this is Alpha 5. There's signs there. Oh well. So if you're doing this on the VATSIM network, what I normally do is I turn the transponder TARA now, and as I'm approaching the runway, even if you're not doing it on the VATSIM network, even if you're just doing it offline but with traffic, have a look if there's anything on the approach. I've no traffic turned on, so that's all blank. But I will turn the strobes on as we cross the runway, and the runway turn off lights. It's good to do a visual check as well that there's nothing landing, nothing coming that way. Just put the speed up, get ourselves across the runway a bit quicker. So this is Alpha 7. I'm seeing Sierra 2. Sierra 2's further around on my charts. See, that scenery said Sierra 2 was there. Whereas my charts say this is Sierra 2. So what does that sign say? Sierra 3. That's one thing I have come to learn in Flight Simulator, especially 2020, is some of the add-ons, the taxiways don't always match. Now, if anybody's just randomly come across this video and you're more of an expert on, well, I don't claim to be an expert, obviously, very much an amateur, but if I've missed any steps anywhere, then please, feel free to put me right. If I've done something I shouldn't, or in a sequence that you professionally wouldn't do, then please, let me know. Okay, so it's around this point Tower would call us up and go, Tom Jet 123, cleared to enter runway 20, line up and wait. Or they would say cleared to enter 20 via Sierra 4, immediate takeoff. So there's no traffic on the approach, so landing lights can come on, taxi lights off. Yeah, we're just about good to go. Now the runway in Lisbon is quite a big one by the looks of it. Okay, so these chevrons on the floor, these arrows on the floor, just the threshold of the runway. We can take off on this, or we can start our takeoff roll on these chevrons, but we can't land here. So when we're coming into land, we will overfly these white arrows and land in the landing zone for a bit further down the runway. So take off, position lights, yeah, taxi lights off, landing and runway turn off lights are on, transponder is set to TARA, traffic is on, start the clock, which I've got one on my yoke, but some people use this one here and I don't know how to start it. I mean, is that it? I don't know. Runway 20 confirmed. Okay, so we are good to go. Okay, so we'll increase the power to 50%. Wait for that to stabilize, and then press this little screw here. That'll activate toga. And away we go. She's using the rudders now to keep us straight as we go down the runway.
80 knots. V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. And what I'll do for the purposes of the video is activate the autopilot straight away. So now we're just going to follow this magenta line here. We want to be above 3,000 as we get to net yo. So we'll increase that climb a little bit. Just double check on the departure if there's any speed restrictions. There's no speed restriction. Speed us up to 220. No, I won't. I'll speed us up to whatever that say. Whatever speed that is up. So speed up to up. And as we speed up, so passing transition now at 4,000 feet, so press standard. Just look at those clouds. Absolutely amazing. So we're now turning right, which will be to 295. This heading here. Again, PT 701, 4,000 or above, which is fine. going to select VNav now, which will speed us up. Coming nicely round that. So as we complete this turn, we'll do the after takeoff checklist. So now we're going to speed up to 298 by the looks of it, as we pass 10,000 feet. So as we pass 10,000, landing lights can come off, runway turn off lights off, and I'll let the passengers out of their seats. Okay. And now we continue the climb to 150 at, which is set PT751. So we should be there. PT75. Yeah, there we go. 150. Should be a PT751 150. Flight level 150. So let's just say air traffic control have called us up saying Tomjet 123. Continue climb flight level 380, which is our cruising altitude. So change that to 380. What I normally do is press altitude into vent, which will delete the 150 from the FMC, and will just clear us straight up to 38,000 feet. Oh, there's the airport, you can see. So that is the takeoff from Lisbon. So I'll just run up through the after takeoff checklist. The autopilot is command A, engaged. Auto brake is off. Gear lever is set to off. Start switches are off. Flaps are retracted. Cabin pressure is normal. Altimeter set to standard. Landing lights off, and seatbelt signs are as required. So yeah, that is us on our way to Birmingham. There we are. Beautiful, gorgeous aircraft. Okay, so that is pretty much my takeoff routine. Now I'll just monitor it until we get to the cruising altitude, and then yeah, run through the relevant checklist for and procedures for landing in Birmingham. So thank you very much for watching, and if you do have any tips on what I can do better or what I've done wrong, this, that and the other, please let me know. Thank you very much, and see you next time.